This tutorial is a response to an Orphan Labs video regarding Opentoonz bugs. It's actually more about finding fixes for the bugs, and one of those bugs will probably more so affect those doing cutout animation. It has to do with a mysterious line artifact that appears when you use the plastic tool. It's an issue even without it, but it seems more pronounced when you use it. So if you're not using the plastic tool, this might be a solution for you. But if you wish to use it, it's more of a workaround, and it's a bit of a compromise also. But maybe this will be helpful for you in some way, and that's the reason for this tutorial. So this is a really simple sketch, 3 parts. After adding the center points, you go to the stage schematic and parent the arm. Hand goes to forearm, and the forearm to the upper arm. Then switch to the FX schematic. You do this by clicking the icon on the bottom right. Click the FX icon on the bottom to launch the FX browser. I'm spacing these out in advance because it's easier to organize this way. Add 2 palette filters, 2 matte in nodes and 2 matte out nodes. You'll need one of each for each piece you're joining. Finally, add the over FX node. It's important how things are ordered in this node because it overrides the timeline layers. You'll want to connect this over FX node to the X sheet. Now connect the hand to the source input of the palette filter, and the palette filter to the source input of the matte in node, and then into the over FX node so it can be rendered. You also connect the hand to the source input of the matte out node, and this also goes into the over FX node. The forearm you connect to the matte input of the matte in node and the matte input of the matte out node. Now, you're simply repeating the steps. This time, you connect the forearm to the source input of the palette filter, and the palette filter to the source input of the matte in node, and then into the over FX node. You also connect the forearm to the source input of the matte out node, and this goes into the over FX node. Connect the upper arm to the matte input of the matte in node, and to the matte input of the matte out node. Finally, put the upper arm directly into the over FX node, so that it can be rendered. Now double-click each palette filter, and select lines from the drop-down menu. So now you see the problem. Here's the workaround. In the FX library, go to Image Adjust and find the density I and O. Select the forearm. Be sure to insert the node. If you select Add, it won't work. Crank the density I and O up to its highest level, which is 10. The problem is reduced but not completely gone. So you'll insert another density I and O and crank that to 10 also. There you go. The lines are gone. Next, you do the same for the upper arm. Because you will want some overlap of lines where they will naturally crease, you do this next part. Use the cutter tool and cut the outlines where you want them to overlap. You then give the cut line a new style. Though you keep it the same color, it has a different number, so it will have a different identity. So you see when the style is changed, only that instance is affected. Next, you go into the palette filter and type in this style number. In this case, it's number 3. Also, select lines from the drop-down. So this is it. It works. Now if you want to add the plastic tool, this is where you have to compromise. You can't use it on both the upper and lower arm without the artifact. You'll have to select one as you can't use it on the uppermost layer. In this example, it's on the upper arm, and the results are workable. It's not a fix, it's a workaround. If you want to fix, watch the Orphan Labs video in the link below. He tells you how to get a real fix, and that's by supporting the developers, which we all should do.